declared the same before God, and also in the presence of these witnesses, I pronounce them husband and wife in the name of the Father, and of the Son.
In the 80s, living in Nigeria was really tough, you know? It's just like you living where you grew up from to a place you don't know anybody.
As I said, if I need to be a okay, be a go on naba, well, no branya always there for like she ever jeva, never ever ganan, well, not okay, so yeah, okay, so well, not never when they get her. Yeah, who was in there for an abia for the money man, Nana, and Anna, age and abia. You even name it 20 and one time. I know Jezuna one. I know not that wherever I know so now get on more knows on our planet is where we call America for us. Mela age when they choose a million, Mela age when others or by line. I am for there. I say, please, I got be a person one expand the answer. Whoa, or not double line. So I am. I did just a quiver, not just for a new ones. For a new one, and one don't know. They don't know they do full zabble. On the one in America, no, I get that. The maze with a club.
It is incumbent upon us, as individuals who are placed in better circumstances, to help in any way that we can. The time to act is now, and we must not wait.
Believe that when the story of this country that is told, you will have nothing to regret.
Yeah, school days was nice the first 2 years because I have a big brother here. I come here, Franklin Chukuma was my big brother. He was responsible for me coming to the United States the time I came. I lived with him. I went to school the first 2 years. And my school fees, my feeding, everything paid.
I have my senior brother here. Now I'm not being, it's our father per se, we look up to him. He was able to sustain us and up till we stood on our own. Yeah.
Each of us that come, we now work on our families, other members of our family, our brothers, our siblings, to come over and go to school too. So with time, all my siblings, all 9 of them, came over. That's the culture of Onitsha people. They look out for a family. If you go somewhere and it's not good, you warn them off that it's not good there. But if it is good, not only will you tell them about it, you walk towards them partaking in that place.
As much as he wanted me to be a man of my own, he just kept hinting that I had to get some tap roots. After living with him for 1 year and going to school for 2 semesters, I decided to move out of his house. I know what my father wants for me. I want to be a man of my word. And even though she married Sophia Chupuma, which is Dibeze today, she was crying and trying to, well, why are you going on the truck? I said, yes, because they treat me so well that if I continue living there, I might not find my way in the United States. So I just have to go find a room somewhere closer to my school and live there.
School life. When I came here, I found out, because I had to leave somewhat in a hurry, that my school didn't really have a residence hall for me to use. The school was actually out of town. So I had difficulty finding a place to stay. In fact, the first day I came, they had to place me with my advisor to sleep in his home. Subsequently, I was able to find a Nigerian whom I spent a month with him, and eventually found my own place.
When I came here, honestly, I came to A&M University. The school was over when I came. You know how big the school is?
Yeah.
They put us up in one dormitory. There was nobody around, honestly. I looked outside, it's all farmlands. Oh my God, I wanted to go back.
While I was in school, initially it was difficult because having to go out of town, and it was quite a rural type of environment. You didn't have buses, you didn't have public transportation, so it made it a little difficult. But after I bought my car and started going to school, finding my way, things became easy.
I went to flea market. I bought what they call transistor radio. You know what I mean by transistor radio? That was my company then. Until after some time, people started coming into the school. School life was good. Then things weren't as bad as like now. We used to get our money from home. Our school bills were being paid from home. Your parents will send you money for school.
My father was paying for the school fees pretty much, and the Naira dollar exchange was fantastic. Naira was stronger. School fees was paid for, usually sent straight to the school.
Do you know that the Americans over here thought my father is so wealthy? I used to tell them, yeah, we have an oil wealth in my family. I'm telling you honestly because
when we came here, we had to adapt to the educational system. The educational system was a little different from what we are used to in Nigeria. In Nigeria, you would go to school, you would then hit tests every once in a while. But when you came here, we found that you are professional tests every day. That they give you a regular test, quizzes, and impromptu quizzes, and they all count.
So I had erroneous or pre-med classes, and I did very, very poorly in the cadaver studies. I could not handle cadavers at all. Being in that room, I threw up, I fainted, I did all kinds of stuff. Eventually, my mentor for the program put me in a lab. And I remember what they were actually doing was diffusional aspect of a drug through certain barriers. And that was quite interesting to me.
I was doing my first semester of clinical. Apple Compura, they came to the university. They started recruiting students. I fall into their thinking that I would be making money more than what the promises that I would be making more money.
So we had to adopt and be ready at all times. In Nigeria, you can go to school for a good while before you have an exam. But here, no, you can have tests every week, twice a week sometimes. There's no moment of laxity. There's no moment of laxity. You have to be on your toes all the time.
Because that time is when Compura, Apple introduced all this desktop. They are the people that introduced. So I thought I would make more money on Compura than Compura management anyway. But I check out from pharmacy school and start doing management, business management. They offer us a lot of money during that period, so we thought that it's way to go.
So second year, I still went back because I still wanted to go to medical school. And I did very badly in the cadaver class again. Again, I fainted and threw up and wasn't a very pretty sight. So I went back to the lab. And after my pre-med classes, my sister walked in and told me, "Oh, I signed you up for pharmacy school." Like, okay. So, and that's how I ended up going to pharmacy school. And you don't actually have conversations when your big sister or your big brother says something. You're going to pharmacy school, so I went to pharmacy school.
Because we are in our 20s, mid-20s that time. So we thought we were doing something good, but not, don't take money first.
Their method of examination is different from what we are used to. In Nigeria, we are more essay-driven. You are asked to explain this and explain that. We do have what we call objective tests, but here they give a lot of that, and they give it so much that unless you know it, you will not finish. It looks simple, but you have to really know it, because you cannot mark A when the answer is B. I say because B is so close to A, you get some of the points. You either know it or you don't. You say, whereas in Nigeria, because of the essay system, you can write it, but you may not explain it very well. You at least get some points for your idea, the way you explained it.
I did my best out of the school experience. We started a Nigerian club where we all got together. It was only like 13 of us. We got together and exchanged ideas, and weekends go to friends' houses. There we'll eat and drink, and that was it, talk about things, and then that was how that lasted. Eventually, we expanded our horizon. We met some students from Saudi Arabia, some from Iran. Subsequently, we formed what I call the International Student Association. And after some time, we started a soccer club for the school. With that soccer club, the school the next year made it something they wanted to pursue. I became the co-captain of the soccer team, and we played for the school, playing other institutions.
I remember when I graduated, I told my brother I'm graduating, but I'm not going for the commencement. And he said, "No, you are going." And actually that morning I wasn't ready to go anywhere, but he dressed up and came and took me to graduation and took all the pictures that later became the focus point of my coming to America, because all those pictures that he took and take it back home to my dad. This is when I was called by the school. This is when I was conferred the degree of. It was a big deal. Up till today, I look back and said it would have been a big mistake that I didn't attend my graduation.
Eventually, I had to move on to do other things. I became a member of certain fraternities and things of that nature. So school experience was good, even though it was somewhat lonely, but I think we enjoyed ourselves and learned from each other.
I didn't have any problem at all because I was already used to leaving my home and going to school in another city. So, and living in the boarding school. So it was not a big deal. And right here in the US, we have a lot of Nigerians. So there's always company.
Social life was good. Every weekend, there used to be house parties, then not like now we go to the hall. Everything is like an apartment, we go here and there. Life was good.
We look at Africa, we cannot just focus on apartheid in Southern Africa. We must fight for trade with Africa and not just aid to Africa. We cannot stand idly by and say we will not relate to Nicaragua unless they have elections there and then embrace military regimes in Africa, overthrowing democratic governments in Nigeria and Liberia and Ghana. We must fight for democracy all around the world and play the game by one set of rules.
Interacting with African Americans, we open our heart, when seeing them, our sisters that are here, but they're not that welcoming to us as we were to them. At home, we were never told about racial problem over here. We don't know about blacks and whites. We don't know about that at all. So when we came here, it was all strange. It took us a while to know that we are even being discriminated upon. We don't even know.
The black people I met were at Howard University. That's where I attended. I learned from them because I didn't know when anybody was told to introduce themselves. They typically said, I'm originally from North Carolina. Many of them said that. I didn't understand why everybody was from South Carolina or North Carolina. It was later it was explained to me that, when the slaves came, that they were all in the South. So most of the black people are from that part, South Carolina or North Carolina.
Even in my school, like you finish writing, you write your papers, and a teacher for no reason will really give you a low grade. You know that what you did was the right thing. Instead, I'll keep asking questions. Why is this not? I'll keep asking questions. And you're going to work so hard, you're going to get a C+. And I'm saying, why is that? This is the question. I got this. I deserve more than this. So it got to a point that, in fact, I had to, I'm always sitting reporting teachers. I'm always sitting going in and then fighting for my grades because I know that what I did is right. Not knowing that it's just because of the color of your skin.
I think the interaction was somewhat controlled because their culture is a little different from ours.
There were so many things that they were doing that were strange to us. We are not used to it. They are more individualistic than we were back home. We were communal, so we had to adapt to that. That's why.
One thing that is most difficult is talking to people. In the apartment where we lived, we see people in the hallway who will say good morning and nobody will respond to you. So it's kind of difficult. Then my husband at work, when he's talking to people, he will be touching, because we're always touching. And they thought he was gay. Yes. And you get into a bus and you say, oh, good morning, everybody. And people will move away from you. They will think that you are mentally ill.
The way they do many things were strange to us, but adaptation is a necessary character that a person needs to survive in a new environment. And we did a good job adapting to it.
Within that mix, we also had friends who are white. I had a friend when I was in college. His name was Chris Kiefer. We were very close, a German descendant. And in fact, with myself and Chris, when we did things at that time in Indiana, people were wondering, how did this come together? But he was just an open-minded person, comes from a very good family, very German-oriented descendant family. I met the grandfather, Mr. Gruner. But my experience with dealing with Americans was very good. I did learn a lot from them.
Even the Americans themselves, as level as we are, we have impacted on them because now in America, they are beginning to do certain things that we introduced to the society, see us differently than they used to see us. There were so many assumptions they had about our Africans. Now, they are seeing it differently. They are seeing us as normal people with brain, people that have capabilities, talented, that can do things.
No. We will immediately set up the notion of the individual and the community. And they say immediately that no matter how strong or how powerful a man may be, he is always less powerful than his people.
This is true of, I would probably say Nigerians in general, but we're very industrious. They would do anything, like a good job, to make it.
I was able to get employment with, school board. I was able to work and study until I had my first degree. During my undergraduate, I used to work night. I work at Circle K. It's more like 7-Eleven now. I work there in the morning. I clean up. There's a big sink there. I mean, memories are now coming back to me. I clean up. Then go to school.
Every summer, most of us travel to Chicago to sell ice cream. And that's how we pay our school fees.
Outside job then, we used to like work in restaurants, washing plates,
Dishwashing job at the military base. Yeah, that's what we did. I did. That was the very first one. But back home, my family, we had a restaurant. We had a big, popular restaurant. I worked in the restaurant in all positions, from purchasing the items to cook, to actually cooking them, to serving them, to cleaning up. So when I came here and I had to work in that position and be paid, that was an easy thing for me. It was easy because back home, it's family job. You don't pay. You're not paid when you work in the family. That's our culture back home. Any money that's realized is spent on the family, so you don't expect to be paid. My mom will say, "Pay you for what? Are you kidding me? How much you pay for the food you eat and the bed you sleep in and the clothes you're wearing? So you still expect to be paid." And we were glad that the family is making money, that we should contribute our efforts into making it a success.
We go there, we struggle, we make money, and we go back, spend it. And they thought we are wealthy. We're not wealthy. It's just that we know where we came from, and we want to be somebody.
Nigerians are very studious, very hardworking. Many places where we are employed, they recognized us for hard work and work ethics, that we work concurrently. Of course, we have to do that in order to survive, to make money, pay for our living, good tuition at the halt. And in some cases, send some money back home too.
You had life with that.
When I came here, I came to Wisconsin. I found Onya and I were roommates. We were the same age grade and grew up together. Chief R. Same grew up together. I was at his house, so it's my house, and in fact, we moved from our age group, which was called under my job. His mother was not buying, which I'm sure you know what I mean. It was not buying. So, and I was the same thing. That would all work and struggle, and with an ambition, and with a goal, and a purpose.
Ohio was very quiet. Not a lot of my Onitsha people there, or Nigerians as such. So I needed to go to where you had other Nigerians. So my friends were living in the Washington area and they invited me to move over there. So I did. I transferred from Ohio University to Howard University.
When I came, I didn't know there was, or even Onitsha people, until school started. Somebody like Antonio Biobolu, Baji, may still rest in peace. More, yeah. So many of them. And we used to have a monthly meeting of the Onitsha, yeah.
Here, this between that.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Like a committee of friends.
Yeah, committee of friends, yeah. We used to, every month, because we're a sizable number.
We were concentrated in just about 4 locations in America then. It was Houston, it was Huntsville, Alabama, it was Washington, D.C., it was New York. Those were the areas, the principal areas of residence of our people.
When I first came in, I met people like Chialugo, Ediawenza, Chialugo, Ebuna. I mean, she both of them. It's now Onenyawa. all of them welcoming. And I remember, what's his name, Ike Onwaza, Ofia, them, a lot of Onitsha people. And of course, I won't forget him. And yeah, I met a lot of Onitsha people.
Many people were here before in Washington, D.C. In Baltimore, they were not. In Baltimore, I thought I was the first one that came to Baltimore. Myself and Ifeanyi Zaid, we came together in Baltimore. But we did not realize that there was another Onitsha person in Baltimore at that time until our graduation from our master's program in 1981. Then we went to a party, one graduation party in Baltimore. I met someone there that I knew back home. And that was a Nuhuna that they call Azoku, who was there. They said, oh, Azoku get it? I said, no, the man. And I never. I said, wow. When we came here, we started, we graduated. We are having our graduation party now. We didn't know you are here.
We start getting together, Remember that time, there was nothing like a cell phone or something like that. We use a payphone to call.
We have land telephone, no cell phone then. The house phone, call it. We talk through the phone. That's how we are communicating with one another then. And life was very good. Not like now, things have gotten expensive and nobody was bothering us of immigration status initially.
Our phone number started circulating and people started, that's how, yeah. And another way of also meeting people was, there's a tropical market, African market. So when you go there and you're buying something like yam, it was so funny there. And then you see somebody will say, oh, are you from Nigeria? We're asking it because of the food that's how we start meeting each other, other African countries, Onitsha people, Igbos.
When you arrive, the Onitsha community is pretty much, there has to be at least one Onitsha person that knows one Onitsha person. My cousins, the twins, and Nabeni, Ewinike, and Akune Ewinike. Nabeni was the one that met me at the airport, so he knew some Onitsha people. I have family around me, I have my sister around me, I have my cousins, and I was very much babied throughout the time. Everybody, I was the little sister, and I was taken care of by all of them.
As a matter of fact, my first year, my questions to people was how long have you been here? People would tell me they've been here 5 years. How many times have you been to Nigeria? Because I was so homesick, And I kept asking, I said, you stayed here 5 years without going home? Actually, it was one of the rough times, But you get used to it. Started making friends, a lot of Onitsha people, but there wasn't anything like Onitsha meetings and, everybody minding their business, going to school.
From Ohio University to Howard University, I studied international relations and languages, French specifically. And for my master's, I studied it was educational administration and supervision. That's what I studied. Hoping to teach, use it to teach when I go back to Nigeria.
By the time we came to the United States, all we come for is to get the education and go back to Nigeria, because Nigeria was a heaven at that time.
1981, I went back to Onitsha, thinking that I would settle and help my country, Nigeria.
I remember when my father used to be the Department of Housing is responsible for allocation. Every person that is coming back, whether a lecturer, a worker to the University of Nigeria, actually, my father is going to assign a house to you where you live. And my father always tell me, you see, this is what I do to people, and that when you are ready, it's going to happen to you too. You go and get your education, they will come here, they will give you a house, And it was very encouraging what was happening in Nigeria at that time.
A lot of us went back to Nigeria to help our country, to serve our country, and try to do something.
My elder sister did go back. Ojineka went back. And my immediate eldest brother, Onenu Fudibem, he also went back. My youngest brother came, and he too went back. So my father was really encouraging of no matter how bad things are, that, we do come home.
If you ask your dad now, during their own time, when they buy electronics, they'll buy different, more expensive. They call it R2 7 system. So everybody is preparing. When they go back to Nigeria, they need to take these electronics. Some people, if you go to their places, that they still have those. They still ask your dad about those electronics. Then they're very expensive. Then in New York, they only have a place downtown. The only reason they did that was that everybody is planning when to go back. When you go back, you already have these tips, you take them along with you.
I remember, and there was an analysis in the University of Nigeria in Nsukka in those days that says, in a family of 8, if one person will go to university and graduate and become level 8, at that time call it level 8, has a car and a house, that one person alone will raise the family from poverty to middle income family. That's what Nigeria used to be.
I came back there, I do my youth corps service. Youth corps service is what is compulsory for every Nigerian college graduate. You have to serve the country for 1 year before you start seeking for a job. After my youth corps service, I pick up a teaching appointment at one of the secondary schools. I picked that teaching appointment just to have something coming in.
So I went back and my father is telling me, because my father worked for the University of Nigeria for 34 years. And he was telling me that everybody has a bachelor's degree. Now this is a man that was telling me that education is first. I have to at least get a bachelor's degree. Now he wants a master's degree. And that everybody has this, that I have to have an edge and so forth and so on. So they dragged me into it again, and I came back. It was 1980. I came back from Nigeria in 1986. After graduating in 1985, I started graduate school. I was 1 week late. I graduated in 1989.
I never thought I would stay in America one day over. The day I finished my master's, I went home the following day. What happened was when I went home in Nigeria, the government changed.
With measures already being taken by the new military government, retail prices for essential commodities are expected to become stable in the next month or two. At a meeting with representatives of the business community in Lagos today, the Chief of Staff Supreme Headquarters, Brigadier Tunde Idiagbon, spoke of the administration's intention to keep in close touch with the private sector on matters affecting national economy.
The country looks like it's doing good, but I can sense that something is going south.
He reminded them after lunch that one of the primary reasons for the military takeover was the gross mismanagement of the national economy by the ousted civilian government, and that it was the intention of the new administration to stay in constant consultation with the private sector.
This administration is much aware that you in the private sector have suffered hard times in the process, such that today the nation's industrial and commercial base is marked by retrenchment and shutdowns.
My brother, who was a very high-ranking chemist and a mud engineer at Shell, wanted me to come back so we can open up a diagnostic lab. Being with my background, he thought that was very good opportunity for us to do that. I did go back. We had the discussions, but I didn't think the opportunity was quite mapped out clearly for me. I know that we could make it work if we decided to work on it, but the footprints were not quite ready for me. So After some time, I realized that I should just go and continue my education if I wanted to get to my goal of probably getting to finish my PhD or doing engineering. So I came back.
My intention was not to live in the United States. My intention was to finish my master's and return back to Nigeria. In fact, upon graduation, I had already purchased a flight ticket to go back in 1983. And at that point, I called one of my best friends who left 6 months earlier and joined the Ministry of Works. He's also a civil engineer. I called him to pick me up at the airport, and he told me, when you wait for another 3 to 6 months, that there is a situation where the federal government were thinking about retrenchment, laying people off from civil service. The economic conditions started changing. I said, okay, let me hang around. That was the opportunity for me to stay.
My dad definitely had different plans for all of us. Since my track was medicine, he already had ideas of what we are going to go, especially with some of these friends like Professor Gwichi that were really renowned medical folks that everybody thought that's the direction. So we all thought we were going to go back. But again, things did not go the way that we intended.
About that time, because of corruption, things were changing. There was not much improvement in anything.
Nigeria was already changing. The economic situation wasn't like when I left Nigeria. So it was my intention is to, return back home. But, things changed, I stayed back.
One opportunity I had to go back to Nigeria is during Buhari. My uncle, Benchude, became the Minister of Works. He came to the United States. He wasn't looking for me. He was looking for somebody like my brother and Dr. Mike Arre. He invited them to come home and so forth and so on. But after their evaluation of the situation in Nigeria, where Nigeria is going, they declined.
Mothers used to tell their children, come back and get in the line so you can get in the workforce. The oil boom has been squandered by our administrators, For the first time, they stopped telling us to come back. That was the beginning of people staying here longer because things were not working out well in Nigeria because of the corruption going on. For the first time, the mothers will tell you, don't come back. Before, they will insist we all come back and get in line and get a job and whatever. So it was a big change at that time.
Nwanne nwoke bụ Peter n'obodo Igbo nna kọwacha ka ọ nwere onwe na anyị aghọtacha ọkwa.
Mwa bụ Paul Enwezo Amechi Nwokili n'Ogboleke. Abụ m dọkịta, first doctor. Nwanne m nwoke a na-akpọ Peter n'obodo Igbo ka a na-akpọ ebe a nọ.
Nwanne n'obodo Igbo kedu ọ gbadatara?
Mgbe ọ gbadatara, ọ kelere ya wee gbadata maka na ọrụ ya bụ ọrụ siri ike. Ọ nọrọ na league mana ọ sị na mbọchị na-etere ọba aka ọ bịa
maka na anụkwụ m na ọ nwere ebe nyanwa na-elu wee nụ n'ikuku na nyanwa aka gbadatakwa solu na-emekọ onye ọnụ nsu ebula ejima.
Ọ ịza mere ya lụ ya maka o lụrụ otu a mana ọ gara lia ka o si wee lụ o wee debezi ya na ọ ga-abụ onye isi. Mụ na ya metụzi ya nke m mụ na ya wee gbakọzi akwụkwọ ọnụ
ejezi amacha ya amacha
wee macha ya amacha
ebe mere eme. Daalụ.
Nna daalụ.
N'iwe obi mmadụ na n'onye karịrị anụ bo so di nwanne m mmadụ na n'onye karịrị
As the financial outlook of Nigeria started getting worse, we all tried to get certain level of independence. I graduated from pharmacy school, doing my doctorate degree in pharmacy, became a teaching assistant, worked in McDonald's, worked in the flea market. School fees were paid through scholarships at that time. Not that he can't afford it, it just was difficult to do a lot of the transmission of money. So I think no matter how well-to-do or how wealthy your parents were at that time, when that change in Naira started happening and things started getting by, it was really difficult for that the money transfers to come across from Nigeria to United States. So all of us had to really find a way.
There you go. You go back home, have a rest and do your classes. Then you go back to work again. That was our life then, survival mode,
Some of us were assisted or sponsored to come over here for education. Some of us came on their own with their own finance. At that time, we were not getting remissions, money, transfers from home because the government, the military government, stopped all forms of transfers from school fees that we are supposed to use as foreign students to continue our schooling. So we are facing a lot of financial challenges. So most of us had to resort to doing some menial jobs to sustain body and mind, and at the same time continue to go to school.
Some of us that were sponsored to come here lost their sponsors along the way because the sponsors' economic situation changed back home and they could not continue to sponsor, to send money to pay for those education.
Nigeria went so bad. We weren't getting the money that was coming from home. And a lot of our friends, really went crazy. I could remember one of my friends from Obosi, he went crazy. And he ended up, they sent him home. That's when we really buckled up, and started working. Then we worked and you rent your own apartment, 2 or 3 people in an apartment. Yeah. Things weren't that bad, as far as food is concerned. A&M didn't have much of a job opportunity then, so I decided to, migrate, to Maryland, because Maryland has much of a job opportunity for, blacks.
Okay, today is the 2nd of October, and I have 2 more days to submit this application. It's the fact that I'm running behind schedule, but I have to do it. I still have to, write an essay, showing my interest in this type of career.
And we decided, to, stay back because Nigeria wasn't, good as we thought now because things were getting so hard, getting job, economic wise, economic was so bad in Nigeria. So we decided to stay back. It wasn't our intentions. My intention was to do my undergraduate and, go back to Nigeria. But things changed, I decided to do my master's, and lucky enough, I got a job with the state of Maryland, and I stayed back and been working ever since then.
Today is about japa, and yes, it is a recognized word. a Nigerian word used to describe the increasing number of Nigerians leaving their home country in search of opportunities abroad, often enduring challenging conditions in the process. There are clear reasons why a lot of Nigerians choose this path, and it is not uncommon for a young person to be asked, when are you leaving? And a little later, this is followed by, why aren't you leaving?
We relocated to the United States 1990. My husband was the one that filed for the green card for me and my 3 kids, and we came in 1990. And the reason why, he said that, things in Nigeria was deteriorating and we were going to get a better life in the United States. I didn't know how hard it was going to be until I really got here. Because from high school, my dad usually sent us to the United Kingdom to visit for summer. But I never lived there, so I didn't know the difference until I got here.
We were a different way of things. Those of us that came early 90s, right? I came here in 1989, December 13th, 1989. I landed at JFK. The first thing I asked my brother is, are we going to New York? He said, no, you are in New York. And I looked around with all the snow there. I wasn't impressed.
So when I got here, yes, the life was nice, but then when you have to start work and take care of the 3 kids, the reality started to hit me, and it was real bad. We didn't have the Nigerian community that were, the babysitters that I could easily take the kids to, but this Mr. and Mrs. Moke, they are from Imo State, a classmate to my husband. They actually opened up their house and welcomed me and my kids. We decided that I'll send Neka and Kechi, that was of school age, to the same private school her kids were going. And early in the morning, you can imagine me waking up like 4:30 a.m., getting everybody ready and dropping them up in the family's house, and then heading out with my son. I have to drop him in another location. It was real tough.
As a matter of fact, they denied me visa the first time. Of course, the lady looked at me and said, well, your brother left just like you're trying to leave, but he didn't come back. So you're going there to study now. I don't have guarantee that you will come back. And he denied my visa. God bless him. It was Atombanepo that my father reached out to. I think he happened to know the main person at the American embassy. So he engaged them and they talked and they invited me back and I got a visa. So when I came, we already know that I'm going to come to America, study, live in America for a while. So that's the one different.
That family really helped me for almost 1 year. That support was real good. They never charged me a penny. I could not believe that, a family like that will really open up their hands and help out like that without charging me. The kids who go to school, she feed them breakfast, she feed them lunch. By the time I come back with my son, he takes my son, Uche, and feeds him and asks me to eat before I go back home. Because my husband was traveling. He was still doing his business in Nigeria and going around the world. So it was not easy for me at all. But I really appreciate the support they gave me.
After your education and then graduation, did you have plans on returning to Onitsha?
Not really. I just wanted to just visit and come back. But then I got married too and had a child. I took my son too with me. I wasn't planning on staying there permanently because of my son. But because I was born there, home is home, I always like to go at least once a year. I will go.
culturally, I like Onitsha. I'm from Onitsha. You want Chana so. After school, I used to go to Nigeria every year until I started working. Then I worked for some time, didn't go to Onitsha, but I continued. Ever since then, every year I go to Onitsha.
Mike is my friend and he's my neighbor at USA.
Okay.
Purposely for this wedding.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of my wife June and I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to each and every one of you. When I saw I met an independent match, Mr. and Mrs. Match, Odoziato, Dalo, as in
Every month's, goal is to, become a man and be like his father. I started thinking about marriage when it was time for me to get married. I started searching, because by then I already made up my mind I'm going to start my family here. So I got so lucky and found a wife in Nigeria. We got married and I filed for her papers and she joined me here after a year. And we started, lucky enough, we started having children immediately.
While I was in medical school, I didn't think that marriage was number one of my priority because I wanted to finish and get out of there. But I knew I wanted to start my own family. Question was, since I wasn't meeting a lot of Nigerians or a lot of Onitsha people, I didn't know how that was going to work because for me, I'll prefer to marry an Onitsha person. I actually, looking back, I remember my mom made me swear that I wasn't going to marry a white woman. I'm sorry to say this, but there's nothing wrong with a white woman, but she made me swear that I wasn't going to marry a white woman. So at the time, 20 years old or whatever, but anyway, my goal was to marry an Onitsha person.
When I took the other title, to tell you, the last prayer of faith, the last prayer that he prayed for me, he said, look, we've known you in this village forever, and we like your footstep. Today, I'm asking you that when next you come back, you show us your wife. I said, you will show us your wife. If you're having difficulty getting a wife, let us know. We choose appropriate person for you because we need somebody like you in Yao. And I did take that lightly. And it wasn't even a year. I met my wife, and I met my wife previously, but we were just talking, and it was I wasn't ready. It was Akunle and Akunle that looked at me and said, this woman, we know the father, we know the mom, and I would think it would be a good fit for our family. And they urged me to do what I have to do. And that's, so it's not
you follow your leader. There's expectation that by the time you get to 25, 27, you have already planning to settle down. That's how we are there, especially in my family. Akunne, that's what they did. I'm the last son. So I have the two people ahead of me. So this is how we're supposed to be.
I'm just going with the trend, you know. Whenever it's time to, you know, do something, you know, that's when it's time. People were going to school. I went to school. Time to get married. I got married and started having children, you know. And it's more like, you know, you're going with the trend, you know. Like, you know, I've seen my fathers, you know, do.
I got married, got lucky. Married somebody that, you know, understand me. Married somebody that bought into the kind of lifestyle, the kind of future that I want to have
for yourself. Yeah.
And we did seamlessly together. You know, that's one thing about making money. You can make all the money you want when you don't invest it properly. In a few years, it's like nothing. Me and my wife, we did make money more than anybody. But we had it for us. And we were working together. It's not her doing her thing and me doing, no. We were working together. And that's a lot of trust there. And but I think it panned out for us.
So luckily, during the time of my first year of medical school, I went to Nigeria and met my wife. But before that, you know, people have been making suggestions. Hey, you need to get married, you know. But eventually, that's how it ended up. But I'm happy that happened because marrying an Onitsha person, I think, is the best option for me. Oh, how we met. Oh, interesting. I went home for my dad's funeral. So when we were doing the second burial, I, at the time, I was in medical school, but I used to work out a lot. I had some serious muscle definitions and looked very beefy at the time. But again, we were young and active. So I went to Onitsha and, you know, there's no water. So I had to go fetch some water in one of the pipes that was running up the street on Taba Road. So when I got there, as I'm getting this water, I had my Walkman on and I'm listening to my music, enjoying myself. And I saw this lady go by, and I thought I like her physique. I said, huh. I didn't see her face. I didn't know what she looked like, but I thought that, hey, this is somebody I might want to talk to. So eventually, I went home and I spoke to my brother, who's an attorney, and I think he went to school at the University of Calabar. So I said, hey, I saw somebody around here that I don't know, I didn't see her face or whatever, but it looked like it was okay. So he started laughing. And I'm like, okay, let's end this discussion right now. So he was like, what? I said, yeah, let's end it. I said, why are you laughing? So he goes, well, because I know the person. I said, I hope this is not one of those people that, he says, no, that he's going to take me there. So that's how we met. So eventually he took me to her house and then I met her and then we talked and, you know, little by little things developed. It took a while though, but you know, that's how we met, you know.
And before you choose a wife, you need to know yourself. You know who you are. When you know who you are, then don't lie to yourself. Then pick somebody that's too much temptation these days. Commitment is not what it used to be. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you choose somebody that not for the beauty will go away. 20 years. You look at the mirror, you look at yourself, you look at your wife. These are two different people. But you have to learn also, love each other that much, tolerate each other that much to coexist in a household. And that's what will benefit the children. So, and bearing children is a given. That's what a man does. If you want to become a man in Onitsha, you know that, you know, you have to, if God bless you enough, you get married, you have children, and you raise your children. And I think I did that. I have a few regrets. If I know what I know now, I will have more children. But it's hard. But when you're on your own, I'm working, my wife is working, we're trying to, you can pay for nanny, and then we have 3, boom, boom, boom. So, hey, I think we are complete. Let's consolidate on what we have. And unfortunately, my first son passed. And it is the hand of God. It's the hand of God. So, and don't ever try to force anything. Don't ever have a plan, follow, pray that Ndi will bless you enough so that your plans will come to fruition.
Hello.